Hello again, welcome to Bridlington. It's rather windy here. There's a wind from the north-northeast at 17 miles an hour, UV factor 1. It's now 8:05, 82% humidity, and it's today, Tuesday the 14th of July 2026. And it seems, according to the local paper, Bridlington has missed out on the town of culture, and so has the rest of the East Riding of Yorkshire. I think it just applied to that. What does that mean, culture, anyway? How do you define that? Anyway, here we are on looking down towards the South Beach. The sun is to my left there, just behind Flamborough Head, and it looks beautiful here, looking out towards the wind turbines. It's been stiflingly hot over the last few days, the last week or two, especially over in West Yorkshire there, but here at Bridlington it's a cool breeze and I'm actually wearing a fleece. And how do you just define culture anyway? I can't think of anywhere that I know that would pass a test for culture. I always sort of remember a friend many years ago giving me a book called Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance. Have you ever read that? And it was all about defining quality. I've forgotten about that really, but I can't say the word quality now without thinking about that. He thought it was actually about motorcycle maintenance, but it was actually about something far more esoteric. All this stuff is really subjective, isn't it, don't you think? A bit like the perhaps a bit like the Eurovision Song Contest. But anyway, here we are. We're on the Chicken Run Wharf at beautiful Bridlington. Very few people here because of the early time, and we were up at 4 AM this morning and set up at 4:30 to get to Bridlington. And then on the old Driffield Road, you know, the Driffield bypass, with all of its speed restrictions, you know, 30, 40, 50, 40, 60, 30 and so on. Can very easily get caught out with that. If you do come to Bridlington by car along that route, I'd suggest being very careful with the speed limits, especially as you enter Bridlington, and in particular as you leave Bridlington on that road, because there's a 30-mile-an-hour stretch, 40 a bit further on, and there's sometimes someone parked with a camera, you know, at the probably about a quarter of a mile away. It's very easy to get points on your license from that. And while we can see a falling tide here at Bridlington this morning, with the Gypsy Race dredger being canted over to one side as it starts to sit on the harbour bottom, it's worth pointing out that in 4 days time, on Saturday, there will be a 6 metre high tide early morning. I think it's around about 7 or 8 o'clock or something in the morning. 6 metre high tide, of course, being exceptional at Bridlington, but it does go higher than that sometimes. I think it sometimes goes to 6.2 metres, but the harbour looks really good, I think, when you get a very high tide like that. That's the tyres still there underneath Bridlington Crane Wharf. They'll have been there since its construction in 1958. And here is the dredger again, seeming to have some maintenance. Over the sound of the machinery there, we can perhaps just hear the the water lapping gently on the beach here. There's the old sea latrine with the bottom entrance down here now exposed by a falling tide, and the small beach here starting to become exposed as well. Bridlington again being recorded for posterity, of course, as with most of my videos on this channel. There we could see the twin propellers of the Gypsy Race dredger. Quite a strong wind here. Tuesday's sailings, 1:30 p.m, 1 hour Flamborough head cruise. 1:30 p.m, 1 hour Flamborough head cruise. Fish opens at 1 p.m-ish. And here we have the Yorkshire Belle price list on this date. So we'll have a walk along here to the end of Bridlington North Pier, and perhaps reflect back on a few times from decades prior to this. Over there you've got the one of the fishing boats, one of the lobster fishing boats, and the steps there where at one point a big boat was sort of rowed across there, perhaps holding 20 people. There was an oarsman on it, and it was his job to take you across, and you could sort of go across from this pier. Really popular back in the 1960s and 1950s, so you could just transfer over there rather than having the long walk around the harbour. And where the Yorkshire Belle is, my memories are here of lots of those ships. There was the wooden one that allegedly the Bridlington Queen that tapped its bottom on the bottom out there, perhaps hit a stone or something and sank rapidly, allegedly by the stern, but only in 5 feet of water. I've read that somewhere. I don't know whether that's true or not. Then there was the pleasure boat that I was on that went out here, broke down outside the harbour there. It must have been one of the old ones, the old metal one that had one engine, not two. And on board there were some Navy types. It was 1950s, just after World War II actually, and they took over the boat. I remember one guy standing up and saying he was an officer in the Royal Navy, an ex-officer in the Royal Navy, and were there any other Navy personnel there. Two people jumped up, and one announced himself from another one of those great warships that we had in World War II, and together they got some on the other boat that had broken down. they'd tried to use a rope to tow the boat. It had snapped and lashed back, and at that point these Navy guys sort of took over from the staff of the boat. I don't know which one that was. It certainly wasn't the Yorkshire Belle, because it only had one engine. But so we went then on a cruise out there. There's some sort of deal arranged where it would go halfway out. One boat would drag the other on a rope halfway out there, then bring it back. Imagine that in modern times if we did that. So safety protocols have taken a lot of fun out of things really, but I suppose made things a lot safer. Kev, are you watching this? From the comments there, you were talking about the yellow rowing boats, which I remember being out there. And were you saying something about you remember them shouting out, rowing boats? I don't remember that, but my memory was further back than yours. Yours in the 1970s. It was in the 1950s for the rowing boats. I can remember the yellow rowing boats, but not the vocals there. It was good to sort of see you describe that. Bring memories back a bit. Can anyone else remember what went on here in the 1950s, 1970s? Perhaps you might want to comment on that. I'd like to think this is a shared experience. I mean, I'm here, I'm on this pier, I'm a bit cold. It's just after 8:30. Perhaps you've been here if you're watching this many years ago. And you might want to, well, at least you're sort of looking at this. Perhaps decided not to come to Bridlington, it's too far, too much trouble. I mean, a lot of the time we can't make it here because we're too far away in West Yorkshire. It's a big effort to come to Bridlington, really. Or perhaps you're on the far side of the world looking at this. Is this a beautiful town, is this? And a lot of us have memories here from childhood. I have some friends in Darwin, Australia. If you're looking at this, this is where we used to come and go on the boats, the big pleasure boats that used to be moored here. There were more of them. There were at least 6, very similar to the Yorkshire Belle. The Yorkshire Belle stood out as being different. That was painted cream, and I always think it had a sort of a more. I always thought it had a more sort of refined look to it, not just a tub that had been built cheaply, but the Yorkshire Belle. With its prow there, looked different, more style to it. But that having been said, one of the boats here at Bridlington, do you remember it? The old tugboat. But believe it or not, I'm just a bit too young to remember the Frenchman, which was another tug here that took rides out. I think that was in the 1940s actually, just a little bit, well, early 1940s, which would be before my time. I was born in the late 1940s. But there was another tugboat used to come here, used to work on the Humber. So you'd have the Yorkshire Belle, the wooden Bridlington Queen, you'd have this tugboat. There's the Flamborian, the Boy's Own. Was the Flamborian and the Boy's Own the same one that was sort of renamed? And then there was another one, the only one with watertight compartments, according to a Navy friend that told me this. Does anyone want to comment on the boats that were here that we used to take out? Remember rowing boats here? You could take a rowing boat out, and here, do you remember on here where you had those cobbles? You had about 20 cobbles here in the 1950s, all lined up, taking people out on trips out into the bay there, and fishing trips as well. They've all gone now, sadly. Big cobbles. Similar to the Three Brothers, but from memory, bigger than that. But time scales differently, doesn't it, when you're a child? So time and the size of things. So maybe they were the size of the Three Brothers. I'm not sure. Well, the summer holidays seemed to last forever when we came to Bridlington. When the schools broke up for the August holidays, we were very lucky. We had a great aunt who had a showy there out in the South Shore Holiday Camp or Holiday Village or whatever it was called in those days. It was over there, just in front of the windmills, and to the right of those white houses on the shoreline, the 3 of them. I've now backtracked a bit from the steps there back in town. I'm looking here at North Beach, being exposed by a falling tide. Seagulls resting there. We just had a very interesting conversation with someone regarding those steps. I'll fill you in on that when we get back around there. Because I've just been told, believe it or not, that the man who used to own the yellow rowing boats back in the day is actually still working around the harbour, having retired and come back to work. Don't know whether I'll be able to bump into him on a future visit, hopefully. As we stand and look at the steps here and turn back, the new information is that you see these you see those silver inserts there? There's a long line of them going up there. Well, everything to the left of that is Bridlington Harbour Commissioner's property. So all of this and the seats. And I'm walking right along the dividing line now between the City, the Council's property and Bridlington Harbour Commissioners. So all to the left of this, and those stainless steel inserts into the pavement there pick up on these posts. So all of this area to the left, Bridlington Harbour Commissioners. Now, interestingly, you've seen me mention these steps before, but the poles don't line up with the steps. And I've been told that the steps don't belong to the Harbour Commissioners at all. They're actually private. So the private steps, nothing to do with the council, nothing to do with Bridlington Harbour Commissioners. The pole seems to have been put there to support the building, but they are private steps. And you can see that the steps have been cleaned up, and it seems there's some sort of deal where someone from Bridlington Harbour Commissioners keeps the steps clean, and the deal is that they're then allowed to access that door down there. That's a cannon pointing out just to the right of the Yorkshire Bell. And it seems that this was once intended to be turned into a restaurant, but something went wrong, and it hasn't opened up for 2 seasons now. So the question is that abandoned? Very sad situation, I think, with this building altogether. That said, do you remember my last trip to Bridlington a short while ago? And we just caught the glimpse of some of the seabird chicks there in the nest, and they were a brown colour then. So let's have a look how they are now. Apparently just 2 of them have fallen out of the nest this year, which is quite something when you look how precariously they seem to be balanced up there, but then again it's just a cliff to them, isn't it? Interesting bit of wildlife actually. If you look past the building and just think about the birds, you can certainly go out on the Yorkshire Bell to see the seabirds on the cliffs, or you can just stand and look at them here. Very interesting. Must be great to go out on the Bell there around the cliffs with a long telephoto lens camera. We don't have that, of course, we've just got the phone. Not that I want a camera like that either, it's all moved on. It's now computational photography, isn't it, with the phones. That's a nice nest over there, nice and secluded. Let's have a look at that. Away from the noise and the bustle of the other nests. pirate ship there has already moved into position. Just look how rapidly the tide recedes and comes in here at Bridlington. So now we're walking on the property of Bridlington Harbour Commissioners. I mean, who knew? And there you can see the stainless steel studs going along